Hi guys, welcome along. Richie here from the Heresy group. So today's video is going to be a real quick review / overview on the GSGM night vision mount with function from FMA. Now, those of you that have seen my posts previously on Instagram and social media know that this was a bit of a nightmare for me to get hold of. Lots of emails, arguments to and fro from JK Army where I purchased this, but never mind. It's here, we have it. So just going to run through some of the functions, features, you know, plus points and points that are perhaps not so good. So the main reason for me purchasing this new mount, my original Anvis mount actually broke, a piece of it snapped off, which made locking the night vision in the stowed position or down position actually not impossible, so not ideal. Couple of reasons why I would choose this over, say, perhaps another original Anvis mount. One, they are, I'm going to say, nigh on the same price. You know, the Anvis mounts you can pick up, you know, maybe 90, 100 pounds. This was something like $140. So there or thereabouts. Perhaps this might be a little tad more expensive. Second feature I would say is, like most sort of night visions that use a battery pack, you have this power cable running to the back here. So as you can see, the power cable comes down and terminates here. This is where the cable for the FMA would terminate here. Just clip in to this connector, LEMO connector here, back to your power pack. Just here, this little battery cap here, this will allow you to use 1 times CR123A battery in here. Just goes in this battery compartment here. So then you can remove this mount altogether from your lid and use it as a standalone. So being able to remove the night vision and the mount as one assembly from the lid is an absolute game changer in my opinion. Just allows you to, you know, sit them to one side. You know, you can pick them up and down as you want. You know, you don't have to keep flicking them up and down. Especially when, you know, like I say, you're on your belt buckle for extended periods of time in an OP perhaps, you know, just stops that strain, that crank on your neck. So let's take a closer look at the night vision mount itself. So obviously here's the box it came in. Here is your mount itself with fly lead, power lead, and your 3 styles of mount. Now obviously those two I wasn't really interested in because they are for a direct mount, you know, screwing directly to a helmet or lid. This one here is the one that I have and will be using, which basically clips into a shroud, like an optical shroud, as most sort of, you know, Wilcox styles do, Rhino mounts, etc. And then basically your night vision mount here slides on these rails, which I'll show you in just a moment. So there we have it. Like I said to you there, in the optical shroud itself. So here we have a power lead, our fly lead. I'm just going to remove this. Just unclip that. Now here we have this little locking tab here, this little locking mechanism. This is a really great feature in my opinion. Allows a lot more adjustability on the night vision mount, you know, to get that really set up in front of your eyes. So when you need to adjust this, just pull that back there, and this allows for, there's a lot of height movement in that, which is good, you know, if you need to get the night vision set up, you know, perfectly in line with your eyes. As regards this adjustment here, the only thing I would say I'm not impressed with is just how much lateral movement there is. There's a bit of wobble there. I mean, it's not going to come off because of the rails, which I'll show in a second, but you know, just that bit of wobble. That being said, it's only when in the unlocked position. As soon as you lock that off, all the wobble is taken out, and that's what I do like about this. It's a real solid bit of kit. There's no wobble, there's no movement, you know, there's no slack in any of these parts, which compared to my last night vision mount is an absolute godsend. So what we're going to do is going to go ahead and unlock that, and then just slide this off. As you can see, a little bit of force just to get that off, but that's just due to these sort of bump stops, these restraints here. Now, as I showed you in this picture before, here are your rails where this slides onto. So that just technically slides down and then you lock into place. So as we take a closer look at the mount itself, starting at the power cable, LEMO connector, pretty standard, nice solid metal connector. The lead itself feels pretty supple, not too brittle, which is good. Hopefully that should last a fair while. Regarding the power connections itself, only downside I would say, I didn't see any sort of waterproofing at all in this connector, you know, that may stop water ingress into here or into here, which, you know, that may be something I may address at a later date, you know, add some sort of sealant or some sort of seal in there. But yeah, that's something to consider if you are going to play in sort of harsh weather conditions. If it's actually lashing down, you know, that's something you need to think about. Moving around then to the side here, as I mentioned before, this is your battery cap, a material lanyard. Seems pretty sturdy, but you know, it's only got to hold the battery cap on. So as we unscrew the battery cap, you do have a nice O-ring there to allow, like I say, to stop any water getting in, which seems a bit of a false economy if you haven't got it on this side. Because, you know, once the water gets into the circuitry, then that's pretty much it. But that being said, you know, the effort's there. They've put the O-ring on this end, which is good. So on the same side as the battery cap here, we have your detent button here, which allows for the use of stowing the night vision and or locking it down into place when you're using it. Nice solid button, nothing really to write home about that, nice and solid, which will just allow you to, like I say, drop the night vision down or stow it when you need to. I'll show you that in just a second. But as you move around to the other side here, where your power cable is, this is your on-off switch for when this is a standalone unit and you're not using the battery pack and or power lead. What I do like about it is this nice big solid cover, so you're not going to accidentally knock this switch by accident. So when you do need to use this, just slide that forward and turn it on. And then once you're done, turn it off again, lock it away. Only downside is which way's on, which way's off. I hear you say, again, there's no real markings. You know, you thought you might have had some sort of maybe 1 dot or 2 raised dots here, just so you could see which way's on, which way's off. But, you know, you kind of got to figure that out for yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and clip these in. So this is your part where your ball detents just slide in here. And then once you're pushed in, click, that's stowed. And again, when you want to drop them down, just a pinch and a push in. A nice real click, a heavy click, solid detent for that. And again, when you stow them, which is great. Good thing I like about this, obviously, when you're in use, compared to the original mount, there's hardly any movement in that at all, which is great, you know, so you're not going to get any wobble on these whatsoever. So unfortunately, there is one thing that concerns me, you know, about this unit that may cause problems down the line, which I may need to address soon. And I'll show you right now. So these pins here are basically what transfer power to the night vision unit itself. Now, obviously there are connections internally, but this is basically just a pin with a spring behind it. So it acts like a little detent. So every time your night vision runs past it, the pin just pushes back on a spring. Now, what stops these falling out is this little cap here. So your pins are pushing against this cap. The springs are so strong, it's starting to push it away from the body. Now, there is only one tiny little screw and a tiny bit of plastic holding this in place. So my concern is that over time, with these pins being pushed in and out every time you drop the night vision up and down, it may push this plastic or snap this plastic off. It may never happen, but that is just an area that concerns me, you know, for longevity of use. So there we go, guys, some really good features on this night vision mount from FMA. In my opinion, really good quality. Obviously there's a couple of minor snags there that's of concern, but in my opinion, a fully functional night vision mount, you know, with power options, that is perhaps, I'm going to say, a third or a quarter of the price of a real steel one. Absolute win in my book. So yeah, big fan of this. Glad that, you know, JK Army finally came through and delivered. So guys, any questions, any comments regarding the night vision mount or anything about it, hit us up. Please hit like, subscribe, that'd be awesome. And yeah, until next time, see you soon.